Bowing is also a great exercise to teach the horse for several reasons. Maybe you need the horse to help you get on. It can be a fun trick to teach the horse both from the ground and under saddle. And it's also a step in the process of laying down. So I usually teach the horses to bow before I actually teach them to lay down when I'm working with the step-by-step process. So this horse has the beginnings of a bow. And he's always been very desire driven. So for instance, a little cookie or something like that is great for trick training. Positive reinforcement is great for trick training. Negative reinforcement helps the horse understand what to do or what not to do. But I find that a treat is the strongest form of positive reinforcement when it comes to tricks, because tricks can be kind of difficult. You know, it's not like a riding exercise. Riding exercise is easy in comparison to learning how to lay down or learning how to bow, where the horse has to change his whole position and put himself into a very vulnerable position at the same time. So I always give treats, even if the horse gets a little bit naughty for a short period of time. You can always remove the treats again when the horse has a full understanding of the exercise, because it's much better that they get very confident, maybe even a little bit overconfident, than that they get shy and nervous about performing something like this. So when I start with the bow, I pick a leg. I don't want the horse to bow on each leg. I don't need that for the horse, because often the horse will connect the bowing on each leg and then turn it into a kneel. So you most likely won't be able to maintain a single leg bow if you teach the horse to do it on both legs, because the horse will want to kneel. Okay, because that's how they work. They connect the dots, and sometimes they're quicker than us, and so down they go, and then you'll have to try to figure out how to separate again. So I usually pick a leg, and I try to pick the leg that the horse is most comfortable of standing on. So for him, he likes to stand on his right front foot, so I'll maybe work with lifting his left front foot. And this helps if you have a horse that's very sensitive. He's not very sensitive when you touch him. But so I take the whip and I cue at the back of his front leg. So if I turn him around for a moment. There we go. So the Spanish walk, for instance, is a cue to the front of the leg, and that makes the horse strike out towards you. A cue to the back of the leg makes the horse lift the leg, like that. Okay, so this is your first step, is to very softly use the whip to lift the leg. There. Good. Okay. Now, it helps if the horse is extra sensitive, because then they want to snap up the leg and keep it away from the whip. This horse, he's sensitive, but he's not very sensitive. Good boy. So that time I'm going to reward him with a little cookie, because he held the leg up in the air a little bit longer. And that's what I want. I don't want him, we start off with him just lifting the leg, but then I want to see if he will take the next step and hold it up a bit longer. There. Okay, very good boy. So he doesn't necessarily get a cookie for every single step that I take, but if it's a difficult step or something that's really, causing him trouble, or that it's a big step that he's just overcome, then I'll do it. Okay. And so my cookies are in my pocket, and if he nudges me, I won't give him a cookie for that. Okay, so he's only going to be given a cookie for him actually delivering a product here, which is going to be steps of the bow, wrong leg, so I don't release. There, good. And he put it down a bit too soon. There, good boy. Okay, good boy. So rub him a little bit. All right, so I can continue to work on that leg until he's able to hold it up completely and without putting it back down for longer periods of time, okay? Once I have that, I can move on to the next step. But for the sake of the video today, I'm just going to go ahead and move on to the next step, okay? So I like to help the horse a little bit. So I'm going to put a little bit of pressure on him like that, okay? Good boy, yes. And if he can stay down like that, he can get a cookie. Good. And I release him back up again. Okay, so he actually went all the way down, so I'm going to say thank you very much, good boy. And he even stayed down there. So even though this is a training video, I'm actually not going to do that again, because that was the longest that he stayed down there in the process of training him. So I actually have to quit on this note because he did it so well that I don't want to break his enthusiasm about his win that he just had. But let me explain to you what just happened. So I like to support the horse by picking up the leg in the beginning to help them, because it can be a little bit scary for them to transfer, yeah, good boy, to transfer their weight down like that without any support on that leg, because they'll have a tendency to want to put the leg back down again and stand back up. Whereas if you're there, or even if you have a rope, sometimes for the sake of my back, I'll put a loose rope around his belly, just around the leg, without constricting him in any way. Yeah, okay. So if he wants to do that again, he can. So I'm going to help him down. Good. And then here comes the cookie. Yeah. Good boy. Okay. Yeah, so he'll do it again. But that was on his own terms, okay? So it's not me asking him to do it again. He just did it because he wanted to. Good boy. And that's basically how we want it to develop. Okay. So I help him a little bit balance on the way down. And as you can see, the knee comes backwards. So it can actually help to give him a little bit of if you teach the horse ahead of time how to back up with a little bit of pressure here, okay? Then once you have the front leg lifted, and if you put just a tiny bit of pressure on his chest to back up, then that will give him a natural transition backwards, and then instead of actually backing up, he'll just drop down to one knee. And even if they just drop down a little bit and not all the way, I'll release them and say, good boy, give him a cookie, let him come back up again fully on all four legs. And then you'll go a little further, okay? So it'll kind of look like this. The horse comes back a little bit and you relax. The horse comes back a little bit more and you relax. And then eventually the horse comes all the way down and bows, and then you stop there and you release him up. You don't try to make him stay down in the bow, okay? So only after he's become good at getting down into the bow, still with your help or whatever, then you can allow him to rest down there a little bit, so that you extend the process of giving him a cookie. And even like if he stands up too soon without your cue to release him, then you can immediately cue him back down again and keep continuing to cue him back down until he stays there for just a second longer. Then you reward him and you come back up again. And that's how it works. And eventually the horse gets so comfortable working the bow that you no longer need to support him with your own hand or anything. So then all I do is I just tap the back leg, or the backside of the leg here with the whip, whether I'm in the saddle or from the ground, and down he goes. And then he has to wait for my release cue, and then we're back up again. Okay, so I'll also shoot some more videos on this subject as he gets more and more advanced in bowing. And so you can see more in his own step-by-step process. But I hope you get the idea of it. And also what's really important, what I really want you to come away with, is the fact that it has to be a desirable thing. Like for him, he wants to go back down again if he can, because he knows he's going to get a cookie and it's going to be fun, and he wants that positive reward. So it shouldn't be anything that's tough or rough or the horse is struggling. Then you need to work more on softness and making the horse understand each cue, or perhaps you skip the step. That's also super important, that you move forward with little steps at a time, reinforce them many times so that the horse really loves what you're doing, and then you move on to the next step. So I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and I'll see you in the next one.